assessment of those three running backs because they all got plenty of carries in that game.
Yeah, I think they did a good job. I do. I was a little disappointed in some of our goal line stuff. I know it was like a yard to go, and Mark didn't get it in there. That's disappointing. He's got to be able to get it in there. Ball security was phenomenal, but I think our running attack is pretty solid, and it goes back, obviously, with our O-line. I think the thing that probably need to talk about is it didn't feel like we were missing Crump. And those guys did a great job. Both Eric Williams and Bud Hilburn really did a good job. I mean, didn't notice them, and so, just hats off to them and their preparation for that.
And for Austin Crump, for those who don't know, your starting tight end who caught the game-winning touchdown to beat the Salukis in Carbondale last year with 25 seconds left. It's a shoulder, and he could be back as early as – oh, it's a pectoral. Yeah, that's what it is. Pectoral muscle, and he could be back as early as next month or by the time conference play gets here. Is that a possibility?
Yep, conference play is what they're saying.
That'll be fantastic. And, when you are talking about a guy in Austin Crump, not only a good blocker, but he is also a threat in the passing game, which some of your other tight ends may not be as adept at, right?
Yep. Well, I think he's just really, really good. And so, not having a really, really good player out there, isn't as good. But I'm glad we have the depth that we have, that we should be able to overcome it, and it shouldn't be an issue.
We got our first look at Red Hawk fans, unless they were at the Tennessee Tech game last year. You heard about Geno Hess, and you can see what he did in high school and things like that. Really, you haven't got a chance to look at him. Well, they got to see him on Thursday night. He scored his first touchdown, had a long run to set up that scoring drive. Tell us a little bit about Geno Hess, because he looks like he's a guy that might be able to impact this football team.
Yeah, Geno is a good person and a good player. He needs to grow up. There's some stuff that I wasn't very happy with, and so I'm looking for him to take the next level from a maturity standpoint.
Does that help when you're surrounded by a group of veteran guys? I mean, this is a veteran football team where leaders can kind of help usher him in the right direction.
Yeah, it only helps if you listen. It's kind of like telling your daughters, "Hey, do this." Well, it doesn't matter if they don't listen, And so the good thing is you got a lot of depth, and he's a special player, and I hope he continues to make it about the team and where we're headed this year.
What was your thought on your kicking game, Coach?
I thought it was just kind of average. We didn't punt a lot, but I thought we could have punted better. The field goal that got blocked was a little low, or the PAT, and then we had a little pressure. So obviously Montana State's going to try and wear a hole in there. Pump block was good. I thought we could have pressured them if we wanted to. If it was a tighter game, I felt like we could have done some things there, and then we had several good returns.
Al Young, I think, had a 35-yard punt return in the football game.
Yep. And then kickoff coverage was really solid, except that last one. We kind of let up a little bit. That was disappointing. So I'd just say we're okay. We need to really continue to get better. And early on, there's still a lot of young players we're still getting to know. So sometimes those depth charts change.
We've talked so much about, hey, if you're looking at how a defense does in a football game, let's not look at the yardage. The yardage can vary one way or the other. How many points are you giving up? Well, you only gave up 26 points in this football game. Censure, or at least diagnose exactly what you saw defensively, because they had a hard time doing hardly anything after the early portion of the football game.
Yeah, I felt like it was kind of two defenses. The one, how we started, it was terrible. And so they got it corrected, and I think we can be good on defense, but we're not good enough yet. And so we got to, the get better plan. That's the thing that I got to get everybody to understand, as our team to understand, is we can't focus on Montana State. We have to focus on ourselves. Like, there's no more improvement from game 1 to game 2 than any other during a season. And so we have to focus on ourselves. It's easy to get caught up in a ranked opponent. out there and there's going to be 20,000 fans and all that, but our best chance of winning is getting better. And so that's where everybody's mindset is. And I think the biggest chance to get better is the defense. I think we're pretty good, but maybe I'm wrong. Those guys gotta have a really good week of making sure they understand what it is by man that they have to do to get better.
We're going to be talking with Zach Hall coming up in just a few minutes here. He's finishing up his lunch, so we'll let him eat before we talk with him. But on the defensive side of the football, Zach Hall leading the way, 19 tackles. For some reason, he was not Defensive Player of the Week in the OVC. That went to a guy from Martin who had a couple of interceptions, one for a touchdown. But 19 tackles, Coach. He's now over 300 in his career.
Yeah, I mean, it's just he started where he left off. I mean, that's basically the same thing he did all last year and did a great job again this year. And just enjoy him. You don't get a lot of Zachs. They don't make a lot of Zachs. So everybody that's watching Red Hawk football, enjoy that play he's doing.
Also, he's a bit of a tackle hog because you didn't have anybody else in double-digit tackle. He's hogging all the tackles. But Devin Alexander did have 6, missed all of last year. Yeah. How good was it to have him back in there?
It was, and it just more so just for him. I mean, that was going into your senior year and then get hurt and have to not play your senior year is pretty tough.
Right.
And so I know Zach and him are close, and just to have him back out there, he had a smile on his face and was successful, and he'll keep getting better. It's tough when you said a whole season, but great to see him out there. It really was.
You led the nation last year in turnover margin. You can't always have a bunch of forced turnovers in every game. Every game is different, and that helped you win a lot of football games last year. Well, the turnover margin was even in the game on Thursday, 1-1, yet you still dominated the football game. So you proved that, hey, you don't need to have turnovers to be successful. It's great, and you're great at forcing them, but you don't need them to be victorious.
No, that's a great point. Like, did we have the season we had last year because we led the country in the turnover margin or because we were a good team? I mean, that's the question mark. And so, they did a lot better job of taking care of the football than they have in the past. And so, it came down to our players and our coaches and execution. And so that was good to see.
DJ Davis, their star running back, he finished with 125 yards, a couple of touchdowns. When you just look at him, he doesn't look like he's a really great running back. Is he going to be one of the better backs that you'll see all season?
I feel like I have a lot of respect for him. I mean, I feel like he's gotten better. He's always been electric, but I thought he got the tough runs this year that I don't know that he got in the years past. And so he's a good player. I hope we don't face a lot of him.
As you get ready for Montana State and look back on this football game, we didn't mention Justin Swift except for the fact that he tipped the ball that Marcus Lucas intercepted. How many different things does he do that may not show up on a stat sheet?
I mean, he is a dominant player, really is. He's on one side of the field, so half the plays are away from him or whatever, but even if he doesn't make the play, he's the one that's setting the hard edge so Zach knows where the ball's going and he can go make the play. He's a really good player.
How about your defensive secondary, Coach? Because you've got a lot of guys that have had a lot of Division I snaps. You've got a lot of experience back there, which is always a plus. Early in the football game, they were hitting some passes. The kid was really pretty good. What were your thoughts as the game went along? Give us a synopsis of what you saw from your secondary in the game.
Well, I think they continued to get better, and they were doing a good job of rubs. We were in man-to-man, and they were rubbing us, and it wasn't that, the guys were open because of the scheme, but the quarterback did hit the hands. And then we kind of settled in, and we changed up some of our calls and stuff, got them in a better situation. But I thought the couple missed tackles from our safeties, thought our corners held up nicely. No PIs, which again, a PI.